guys, this is Kevin with 360 RV Reviews. I'm bringing you another install video. I finally got the Renogy 200 amp hour battery installed, and it was a tight fit. Had to order a couple extra things, but I've got tons and tons and tons of stuff crammed into my battery box. So let's check it out and see what it puts out. And then tonight I'm going to give it a test to see what I've got. So I'll run the furnace tonight and I'll leave a TV on, but I've got it wired in pretty slick, and hopefully it works out really well for our trip. So okay, check it out. Okay guys, this is the front of my trailer, the tongue of my trailer, and I've got my trusty Harbor Freight battery box here. It fits pretty good. I had to add some rails here. I did this a long time ago, right when we bought the trailer, but this is a locking storage box from Harbor Freight. I believe it's like $70. I'll put a link in it in the description, but I've added some surprises in here. So open it up, it's not locked. Everything's a tight fit. There we go. So what's in here right now is the Renogy 200 amp hour battery. And I've got a Jupiter 2000 watt modified sine wave inverter. And the way I've got it wired is, I think, is pretty slick. So I had a challenge of needing an extra terminal, so I went to Amazon and bought some of these extra terminals and some 2-gauge wire for the inverter. So this battery barely fit in here. I had to take this lock arm off, and me and Fred lifted this thing, and this battery is 127 pounds. They make a lithium battery that's the exact same size that weighs 65 pounds, believe it or not, and it's 200 amp hour, and you probably get to use almost all 200 amp hours of that battery. But anyway, I put some blocks of wood in here to keep this thing from moving around, and there's, I don't know if you can see it, there's some 3/4 inch foam insulation on the left and right sides to keep the battery is solid. It will not move. And then to keep some electrical contacts from making contact to ground, I added another wooden block. I custom cut this one to be the exact right shape. So I needed to basically make it so that positive terminal cannot touch the metal box. And I keep my instruction manual just in case I need to refer back to anything. So anyway, so this is a Jupiter 2000 watt modified sine wave inverter. It's got some fans on the back. I did look up and contacted Renogy, and they had no problem with me mounting the inverter directly to the top of the battery. It's not mounted in a mechanical way at all. It's Velcroed on. I had some 2-inch Velcro left over. So there's no physical metal to metal or the metal of this to plastic. And this thing doesn't get hot. I don't use anywhere near the 2000 watts except for maybe for a couple minutes at a time, because I can run the microwave on this, and if I had to on the road without starting the generator, I could probably run my microwave for like 5 minutes on it. I don't think I'm going to be doing that though. But anyway, it's Velcroed on, it's attached, it's not going anywhere, I'm tugging on it, but it's only Velcro, so I can take it off really easily. So anyway, coming back over to this side, the manual of this says it needs a 240 watt fuse, but it has fuses inside. So I decided to size it down. I've got a 240 watt fuse, amp fuse, sorry, I keep messing that one up. So I have this resettable breaker, and I use this as my on-off switch. So you set it, everything's lit up right now, and you can reset it or open it and nothing's on. So everything basically goes through this on the positive side. I've also looked that up. Everybody's arguing about positive and negative. I like to break the positive so I don't get shocked if I grab a wire. So anyway, it's kind of a mess. It looks like a mess in here, but it's actually pretty neat and organized. These are my adapters for all my different power requirements, for different hookups and all that kind of stuff. And then I've got these guys here, and one of these is one I can use for testing, but I've already tested stuff, so I'll test it tonight. But the really cool thing that I like that I did about this one is this cord right here is plugged into the inverter, and then I can switch the inverter on and off right here. It's currently off, so if I set my breaker and it's on, so I've got power everywhere. I can turn this on. Now I've got power there, and it has a meter here, and it moves up and down when you start loading it. But anyway, this cord runs to this electrical box right here. I've got a waterproof electrical box, and I mounted the door on the outside, and then I've got a 30 amp RV plug. So when I need to use my inverter, I simply just pull the cord out of the back of the trailer, way back there. It comes up, I've tested it, and it fits in right there. So I go inside the trailer and I shut off the charger converter, because you get the infinite loop charger when you basically are running your inverter through like this, because it's trying to charge itself. So I always tell my wife to go in and switch the bottom breaker off, and that turns the charger converter off, and you're running solely on the 12 volts of this battery. And a lot of times I'll have my solar panel plugged into my tongue. I've got an adapter for this, so I'll have my solar panel plugged in and just leave it in, and it just charges throughout the day. So anyway, the other thing I've got, so I can go ahead and turn that off. I can kill this power, and it kills all the power. And yeah, it kills all the power from the battery over here. So, and the other thing I did is I installed a 12 volt outlet, and it's a waterproof marine grade 12 volt outlet. It's got rubber caps and stuff. And I wired that in to the positive side of this terminal, and then the negative directly to the battery. So the positive it's technically broken, because if you turn the breaker off, you know, you got no juice. But I did this so I can power my 12 volt macerator pump from here. If I don't have my truck close enough, because I've got a plug on the back of my truck, then I can power my macerator right there. So I think that's kind of slick too. But so what we're going to do is we're going to go this evening. I'm going to set this whole thing up, and I'm going to run a test overnight, and we're going to see how well this battery performs here at home base before we go out and boondock. Our first stop of our giant summer road trip is going to be 3 days of off-grid camping. So anyway, and then when we're at home, I'll leave this turned on for a day after I plug the trailer in. I usually leave the trailer plugged in all the time, and I'll let the battery charge through the stock charge converter. I did talk to Renogy, and they said it's okay. It's a 3-stage charge converter. This is an AMG battery, and it can handle that type of charging. So that was my battery setup for what I've got going on in here, and I think it's pretty cool. So what I really like is it's really small, and it's lockable. Boom, gone. It's lockable. It's heavy on the tongue, but I already had 2 Group 31 flooded batteries in there, and they were about the same price, same weight. This is just one giant battery. I like the install. It's super clean. So we're going to give it a try tonight, and let's see what happens. All right. I'll come back while I'm getting ready to test it, and we'll get it all set up, and then we'll come back again in the morning, and we'll see how it performed. All right. We'll get a voltage. We'll get a voltage right when we turn it off, or excuse me, right when we turn it on, and then we'll get a finished voltage when I turn it off in the morning. So as long as we don't go down below 11.6, I think we'll be okay. So, because that's a big battery. All right, we'll see you soon. Hey guys, we're back. We're gonna do a test. It's almost dark outside. Come on over here. We're gonna see what voltage we have on the battery before we switch over to the inverter. So I'm gonna test this. It's really dark. I should have done this right before it got this dark. But battery charged, we have 12.75 volts. And that is as charged as I could get it. I'm sure it can probably be charged a little bit more. 12.75 volts. We're going to head inside and turn the charger converter off. And then we're going to plug in and turn the inverter on. So on mine, the charger converter is just in this panel right here. I'm going to turn the bottom 2 breakers off, so that will prevent the infinite charging loop through the batteries. And then we're going to go right back outside. And we're going to plug in the 30 amp RV cord that's from my shore power cord into my outlet, plugged in. We're going to set the breakers good, turn that on. So now we have power. And I can see that we have 1 bar, it's floating between 1 and 2 bars, probably because the refrigerator is on 120 volts. So let's go make sure everything is off as much as possible. And then we're going to turn the TV on and leave a few lights on and give it a good test. So we're going to switch my refrigerator to gas. We're on gas. And then we're going to come in and turn this test TV on. I have this thing set up to where it is the least amount of power usage. So this is a TV DVD player, so it's going to give a good example of everything that's going to happen. So this movie will play all night long. We don't need this light on. We're going to leave 1 light on in the RV, which is going to be the light over the dinette. Oh, we have to turn the furnace on. Furnace is to heat, and we'll set it to probably 68. It's probably not going to get that cold tonight. We'll go 65 like we always do. So furnace is set to heat in 65, and we'll turn some lights off. That's the only light. I know it just got really dark. That's the only light that's going to stay on. So we'll give this a test. I can't see me. We'll give this a test and we'll check the voltage 12 hours from now. Thanks. Bye. Okay guys, it is about 13 hours later, and we're going to go check the status of the battery and see what my test has come up with. Again, we left we left a TV DVD player on, and we left a light on, and we had the furnace set. We're in the battery compartment, and this is going to be a little interesting for me to test the voltage while holding a camera. So let's see how talented I am with one hand. All right, we got 12.3231 volts, 32 volts. So from what I have researched, you can take an AMG battery, and that's with the load on it right now. So it's got a TV and a DVD player and a light on it. But anyway, from my research, you can take an AMG battery down to 12.2 volts. So this says battery is at 2/3, which, I mean, these things aren't all that accurate, but battery's at 2/3. Okay, so let's turn everything off. All right, so let's just switch off the inverter, kill the power, and we'll unplug the inverter from the trailer, and we'll test the load again, test the battery one more time and see what it's at. Yep, so without a load, the battery is at 12.42. which is pretty fantastic considering this thing ran for 13 hours with a furnace probably kicking on maybe 4 or 5 times, and with the TV DVD player and a couple of lights on inside. Battery says full. Wow. So we went all night long with the furnace set to 65. You know, it's getting warm today, so it's not that cold. That's amazing. I love this battery. Okay guys, that was the test, and it was very successful. So I do recommend this battery. It's a really good battery. It's heavy, but you know, in the future I'll probably upgrade to a lithium version of it. So anyway, that's it. The battery is a success. The way I have it wired is a success. I think I might leave the top open on the battery box when I'm using the inverter overnight if the weather's good, If not, I might install a small 5-volt fan to circulate some air in there. It won't draw any power, really. Just a little computer fan blowing air out the back or something like that. So, all right. Please subscribe to our channel. Give us a thumbs up. Let us know what you think about this install, and stick around for more install videos. Thanks. Bye.